Okay, well, a lot has happened since my first Kaksolian video. I have new characters, punctuations, words, and grammar. I improved the internal history and culture over the past few months as well. Let's start with the history today in this long video. I changed the date that the ancient combatants arrived a few times. At first, I wanted it to be during the 18th dynasty, my favorite combatant dynasty, but I changed it to during the time of Uzurmatre Muryamun Ramesisu Haikayunu, circa 1150 BCE, for the people to have a memory of the interesting events that took place during the 18th dynasty and more Nubian influence. Oh, that's right. It's not just the ancient combatants. I had it so that the first people to the Kaksolian Islands came from Upper Kumat and Nubia. To find Nubian words, I have a list here, but I also go to Google Translate for the somewhat related languages of Yang and Nart. When they arrived on the Kaksolian Islands, for a reason I just came up with, the Omikalevo, aka the invasion of the Sea Peoples, they were alone on the islands for some 1,200 years until the drummers arrived, and in this timeline, the tradition of palm leaf manuscripts were in use in South India by this time, unlike the real timeline when they caught on in the 900s. When the drummers arrived in the Kaksolis, they mixed with the descendants of the combatants and the languages began to mix. The islands were quiet until the year 200, when tribes began to form. Each of the tribes were based on a system of matriarchy, patriarchy, or sahiarchy, run by the third gender in the Kaksolian culture, the sehai, singular sehai. Itat jever ku perongepid sehai kagan ki nebwakila ka verwojek kon chubok di pinkuvi. The tribes were united by someone from the island of Hiwitoi Kaksoli, Pichai, who changed his name to Pichai Kaksoli, and the rest of the islands were grouped as the Hiwitoi Kaksoli. He united the islands under his kingdom in 850. He also created the proto-form of the Kaksolian script. His son, Pichai Kaksoli II, made a bold step in Kaksolian history by sailing to the Far East, for a reason I haven't chosen yet, and discovered new islands. One island called Ipeka, and even further east, the Hiwitoi Jagalilugat, today known as the Mentawai Islands. After returning back to the Hiwitoi Kaksoli, there were 6 more kings. In 1010, Tipoposea built the first temples dedicated to Iranuta, the god of the Kaksolian religion. The Shinitan Makilah Apaidam, Ahutwerho, and Iropi Nirhava temples were all built under Tipoposea in Izatau. The 3 temples became pilgrimage sites for Kaksolians. After 5 more kings, there was Mukato, who opened the islands to trade in 1104. First, by going to the west, he found Kunarta, which was, by this time, part of the Indian Ocean trade routes. Getting most of their knowledge from other sources, the Kaksolians had their own perspective on the world, which lasted until 1884. Some missionaries of the archaic form of Iranutism, the Kaksolian religion, traveled to areas such as Sapmi, Dazongwa, Khamg, Nihon, Bonoman, and more places, who made their way into the Kanuhemon Iranuta. There they got more first-hand knowledge from the world. More foods, technologies, and loanwords entered the islands. It was at this time that the first books of the Kanuhemon Iranuta were being composed. In 1463, the king Kilopa closed off the islands from the trade entirely and tried revitalizing Kaksolian culture. He developed the Kaksolian script into what it is today. He also created a lunar calendar while standardizing and officializing Iranutism in the islands by compiling the several books into the Kanuhemon Iranuta. This period was known as the Isolationist period. There were plenty of kings, but one tried opening the islands back to trade and found out about a completely new continent far to the west, with amazing spices and vegetables. He allowed the new crops to enter, but the next king closed off the islands. Eventually, when Haoni was next in line for the throne in 1884, he sold the Hiwitoi Kaksoli to the Farangloi, aka the British, for £5 million, which today would be
£2,335,938,908.73. For $1,152,341,644.77 Canadian dollars.
Or
60,544,616,590.65 pesos mexicanos.
Those are big numbers. I hope you all enjoyed my very, very long video. Thank you so much for watching.